Start by lying comfortably on your back with your knees bent and your feet hip-width apart. And see if you can relax the front of your hips, relax your shoulders, relax your neck muscles. Place your hands on the bottom of the rib cage and start to take some nice deep breaths. In through the nose and then slowly out through the mouth. Feel the movement of the rib cage as it opens and expands like a balloon, and then as it deflates and softens on the exhale. Filling up the lungs on the inhale, feeling the expansion. Exhale, soften. Lower the hands down on the mat, and on your next exhale, rock the pelvis back. Inhale, rock it forward. Exhale, rock it back, drawing the tailbone between the thighs without engaging any glute muscles, and then releasing it on the inhale. Exhale, drawing the tailbone towards you, and then releasing it back down on the mat. One more time, sinking the lower belly towards the lower back, and then just releasing on the inhale. Now bring your shoulders up towards your ears, and then lower them down. Up towards the ears, and then just slide them down. Lifting up on the inhale and lowering on the exhale. Now reach this same arm as the leg on one side, giving yourself a nice big stretch. And then exhale, slide that foot back in, lower the arm. Go over to the other side, reaching one arm and leg. You can flex the foot to reach through the heel, and then slide that foot back in, lower the arm. One more time on each side, reaching on the inhale, fingers away, and sliding back in, lowering the arm on the exhale. And again, one nice big stretch. And exhale, slide the foot back in. Now reach the first leg along the mat and start to rock the pelvis nice and gently. And then lower it down. So pressing into the opposite foot as you rock the pelvis to the side, and then lower it down on the inhale. Exhale to rock, reaching the knee over the toes, and then rocking it back down. Switch sides. Pressing into the opposite foot, knee reaches over the toes, and softly rock down. And softly rocking to the side and lowering down. Rocking and just lowering down. Now slide that foot back in, and then place your hands on your hip bones. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, feel how the lower belly just sinks down towards the spine. Inhale to fill up the lungs, expand the chest, and exhale to soften the lower belly, hug it down towards the spine. Now keep the engagement of the lower abdominals and lower one knee down towards the floor, and then draw it back to center. And then lower the opposite knee down to the floor, and then draw it back to center. Once more, lowering one knee, keeping the pelvis leveled, and then drawing it back to center. Lowering the other knee down, and then drawing it back to center. Good. Now hip release, opening one knee out to the side, reaching the leg forward along the mat, rotating the parallel, sliding it back in. Other side, allowing the knee to drop to the side, reach forward, rotate through parallel, and then slide the foot back in. First side, out to the side, reach, rotate to parallel, slide it back in, keeping the pelvis level the whole time, opening the knee to one side, reach the leg, rotate to parallel, slide it back in. Now hands to the side, exhale, rock the pelvis back, and then rock it forward. We're going to lift a little bit higher this time. So as you rock back, you're lifting your tailbone, your sacrum bone off the mat, and then you're rolling it back down. And again, exhale, rock the pelvis back, draw the tailbone between the thighs, sink the lower belly towards your lower back, and roll halfway up, and then roll all the way down. Again, exhale, drawing the tailbone between the thighs. Now keep rolling up, scooping out the abdominals. Find your way up into the bridge. Hold your bridge and now reach your arms overhead. See if you can lower them down on the floor. Reach your fingers away. And now feel how you create space between your vertebrae as you roll down the spine from the upper back, middle, lower, sacrum, and then dropping the tailbone down last. You can place your arms down and then just place your hands behind your head, lifting the elbows off the mat. On your next exhale, chin slightly down, reach one leg as you curl up, and then slide the foot back in as you roll down. Exhale to curl up and reach the leg away, and slide it back in as you curl down. So we're trying to create space in the front of that hip as you connect the rib cage, hug the lower belly towards the spine, and then curl down. One more time on the other side, reaching as you curl up and then sliding the foot back in, roll down. Now reaching both legs, scooping the abdominals even more, reaching the legs even further, sliding the feet back in, lowering down. Exhale, reach the legs, scoop, and hug the abdominals to the spine, and then slide them back in, roll down. Exhale, connect the rib cage, hug the lower belly as you reach, slide the legs back in, lower down, and place the hands by your sides once again. On your next exhale, connect the ribs, drop the lower belly, and float one leg up to tabletop. Lower down on the inhale, float the other leg to tabletop. And then lower it back down on the inhale, making sure that you're connecting your abdominals before you start to lift that leg. So connecting the ribs, dropping the lower belly, float the leg, and lower it back down on the inhale. Once again, connect the abdominals on the exhale, floating that leg up, dropping the thigh bone into the hip socket, and then inhale, lower the foot. Now engaging your core even more, reach and lift one leg, then add the second leg, lower the first leg, and then lower the second leg. And now we're going to do the same thing, starting with the other leg. So floating one leg up, floating the second leg up, lowering the first leg, lowering the second leg. Good. From there, you can bring your feet closer towards your hips, lift the heels, and reach your arms to the sides. Nice twist, so dropping the knees to one side, gazing over to the other, and then rolling back the spine over to the other side, dropping the knees, looking over your hand, and exhale to return through center, dropping the knees down to one side, gazing over to the other. Exhale, rolling the ribs back, and one more time to drop the knees and reach, and then back to center. Now hug the knees towards you, bring your upper body in a flexion, and now rock the body back and forth, rolling like a ball, keeping the spine flexed, rocking back and forth. Elbows are slightly bent, your gaze should be down towards your knees, giving yourself a nice massage. And back and forth until you slowly but surely make your way up just behind your sit bones, and then reach your arms, scoop your abdominals, lower one foot down at a time. Good. Lengthen up on your sit bones, and then drop the knees to one side to spiral, looking over your shoulder. And exhale through center over to the other side. Lead with the hip and then extend out through the crown of your head. Through center, drop the knees, and now reach one arm up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, you're going to flex the spine, looking down towards your belly, and then extending, spiraling. Exhale, scoop, flex the spine. Inhale, look over your shoulder. Same thing to the other side, dropping the knees, find your spiral, and then exhale, flex the spine. Lower the arm and then look over your shoulder and flex the spine and extend, look over the shoulder. Good. And then through center, we're just going to cross the legs, bring the hands onto the mat, walk your way back into a 4-point kneeling position. On your next exhale, you're going to curl up into a cat stretch, scooping the abdominals. And then maintain the flexion as you sit back towards your heels. Take a breath into the lower back and then extend from tail to head on the exhale. Shift your weight forward on the inhale. Exhale to curl, scooping the abdominals, dropping the head. Shift back, take a deep breath into the lower back. Extend from your tail to your head. Shift the weight forward. And again, scooping as much as you can. Sitting back towards the heels, breathe into the lower back. Extend from tail to head, one vertebrae at a time. Shift your weight forward. Now tucking the toes underneath. Press into your hands, widen the shoulder blades, and then float the knees up a few centimeters and lower them down. And engage your core as you float the knees just slightly off the mat and lower them down. So think just a few centimeters off the mat. Exhale, floating them up. Inhale, lowering them down. Exhale to float them up. This time, holding the position, so float your knees up. And now on your next exhale, just lift one foot slightly off the mat. Lower it back down, try to keep your pelvis leveled, and now float the other foot up just slightly off the mat and lower it down. Once more on each side, so floating up one foot, lowering it down, floating up the other foot, lowering it down, and then nice and easy, lower the knees, press back into a shell stretch or child's pose, and just relax your belly towards your thighs. Take a nice deep breath, breathe into that lower back, and then reach the fingers forward. We're gonna unravel through a big wave into knee plank and then down onto our bellies. Bring your hands underneath your forehead, lengthen the tailbone down towards your heels, engage your lower abdominals, and then on your next inhale, lift from the chest bone forward and up, lifting the head, neck, and shoulders, and then exhale to lengthen forward and down. Inhale, lifting from the chest forward and up, pressing slightly into the hands. Exhale, lowering the forehead all the way down. Inhale, lengthening forward and up. Shoulder blades slide slightly apart. And now open the hands and then come a little bit higher up using your upper back extensors, keeping the neck long. And then close the hands back in, lower the head. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press back into shell stretch. Relax the belly onto the thighs, take a deep breath. And then place yourself into an all-fours position. Tuck your toes underneath. Press the hands forward and down, lift the sit bones up and back into your downward dog. It's okay to have your heels lifted. Keep the pelvis centered. Sit bones reaching to the ceiling. And now double bounce the knees and then stretch the back of the legs. Double bounce the knees and keep the sit bones lifting to the ceiling. Double bounce and lift. You're still pressing back from your hands. And double bounce and reach the sit bones to the ceiling. Double bounce and add a little jump if you like. Little jump, double bounce. And jump, scooping in the abdominals, jump, and a little hop. Bring your feet in between the hands, and then lower the pelvis, go into a deep squat, stretch the knees, release the floor, round the back. So drawing the tailbone down, scooping the abdominals, releasing the arms, releasing the head. And nice and slowly use the back of the legs and the abdominals to pull yourself up one vertebrae at a time, stacking from bottom to top. Down into the outside of the right foot and reach your right arm overhead. Now side bend over to the left, nice long side bend, and shift your weight towards your right hip. Center the pelvis but maintain the side bend. And again, so you shift your weight towards the right hip, so to the side, and then center the pelvis over the feet. Again, shift the weight, and this time reach your bottom arm up, and then lowering it down. Floating the bottom arm, and then lowering it back down. So you're still maintaining the side bend, floating the bottom arm up, lowering it down, and now lower the right arm, allow the shoulder, the neck, the head to follow, side bend to the right, and then center the spine. Now side bend over to the right. Maintain the length, press into the outside of the left foot, shift the weight, center, shift, keep reaching out of the crown of the head, reaching through the fingers, and shift, and center. Now float the bottom arm, palm of the hand facing up, lowering it down, and reaching up, lowering it down. So we're still shifting the weight back and forth, reaching the bottom arm, and now lower the left arm, domino effect, shoulder, neck, head, side bend to the left. Center the spine. And now face the side. Bring your right leg behind you, heel lifted, tailbone is lengthened. So we have a nice long spine, and then we reach the arms to the sides, slightly in front of the shoulders. Bend the knees once. Make sure you have a 90-90, more or less, and then double bounce. And then double bounce. And again, double bounce. Keep your spine long, tailbone down, double bounce, and stretch, double bounce, and stretch. Now lower the back knee, the right knee onto the mat, relax the toes, reach your arms in front of you, and now circle the arms, left arm reaches behind you, right hand on the outside of the knee. Pull the knee towards you as you spiral around. Look over the shoulder and then release. So you inhale, lengthen the spine as you spiral around. Exhale to release. Inhale, spiral around. Exhale, release the spiral, face the front. Shift your weight forward, reach the arms. And now go into a nice big lift and stretch. And center the pelvis, lower the arms. Bring the back foot behind you, and now pivot the heel forward, bend the knee, pivot the toes, pivot the heel, so we're moving our foot forward, pivot the toes, bend the knee, and now place your left hand on the left knee, right hand on the right hip, and shift the weight, keeping the spine nice and lengthened once again. So you don't have to go to your maximum range of motion here. And then add the arm. So be your right arm, swinging it, swing, and swing, allowing gravity to do its work, and then add a side bend, leaning into the right hip, and then release. Side bend, suspend, and release. Suspend, and release. Suspend, reach, and release. And a nice big side bend. And center the spine, lower the arm, bring the left knee in, and place your hands on the lower belly. Sit back, straight back, and then curl up, drawing the tailbone between the thighs. Sit back. We have a straight spine here, and then we curl from the tailbone, rolling up. Once again, sitting back, straight back, leaning forward. Exhale, curl up from your tailbone. Place your hands on the mat, tuck your toes underneath, shift your weight onto your feet, and then drop the upper body, scoop the abdominals, and start to curl up, restacking the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Feeling nice and lengthened. Let's go over to the other side. So it's your left leg behind you this time. Reach the arms to the side. Let's go straight into double bounce. And double bounce. And stretch. Double bounce. And stretch. Double bounce. And stretch. So still maintaining that lengthened spine. And stretch. And then double bounce. And stretch. Double bounce. And stretch. Lower the left knee down. Relax the toes. Reach the arms over your head. Now circle your right arm back. Left hand on the outside of the right knee. Pull the knee towards you as you spiral around. And release the spiral. See if you can get a little bit more as you pull the knee towards you. And release. So we got a bit of coil, recoil here. And and release. Good. And then turn to face the front. Lower the arms. Shift your weight towards your front leg. Reach the arms forward and up. Lift the chest. Nice big in-breath. Center the spine, lower the arms. And then bring the back foot behind you. Pivot the heel. Pivot the toes. Pivot the heel. You can add a little bend. And pivot the toes. Find your gate pose. And we do the shifts first, once again. Keeping your spine lengthened. Good. And then add the arm. So swinging the arm, shift, and shift. And release the arm. So really swinging the arm. Nice rhythmical movement. Now into that nice side bend. Lean into the left hip and release. Nice big side bend. Open the ribs. And then release. So feeling a bit of tension here created, and then we release. Creating a bit of tension into the side bend, and then we release. Lower the arms, center the spine, bring the knee underneath you, reach the arms to the side. This time we curl back, bringing the arms in front of the chest, and then we come up into high kneeling, reaching the arms. So we just curl back, bring the hands in front of the chest, lift up into high kneeling, and again, curl back. Now reach your arms overhead, open the arms open, lift the chest, and then circle the arms down by the hips. Good, just bring your hands in front of you onto the floor, the mat, and shift the weight onto the feet, straighten the legs, curl the spine, draw the tailbone down, use your abdominals to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Feel the length being created between each vertebrae, and then reach your arms on the inhale and exhale. Good. Coming back to your calm, bringing in that nice energy. Exhale, lower the arms, and I hope you feel as good as I do. Have a wonderful day.